Hey, what's up everyone? I'm at the toy department. Let's go see what they got. What's up everyone? Welcome to my happy place. Welcome to the Nerd Bar. As you can see here, I bought some vintage toys. So I went to the toy department, but I just started looking at these vintage toys and it was like a switch went off in my head. And when I started looking at them and I held them in my hand, I took the Green Lantern, took the Aquaman, held it in my hand, checked the joints and stuff. This is gonna sound kind of weird, but it almost felt like it unlocked memories in my brain. Once you start getting to a certain age, 30s, 40s, whatever, you start forgetting things from your childhood, things that made you really, really happy. And I don't know what it was, but these Superpowers figures, and then this He-Man figure and this G.I. Joe figure, it kind of made me remember memories as a kid. So here's the stuff that I bought. So as you can see here, I have 6 Superpowers figures. I bought all 6 of these at the toy department. So first of all, shout out to the toy department for having such an awesome selection of vintage figures. I like to call myself a Marvel guy. The comic books that kind of got me into collecting comic books were Marvel comic books. They're Uncanny X-Men comics. And then I moved on to Amazing Spider-Man, then I moved on to like Captain America and stuff like that, Incredible Hulk. But even though I say that I'm a Marvel guy, I think deep down inside, I started as a DC guy. I started with Super Friends. When I was really, really small and watched Saturday morning cartoons, the Super Friends was my favorite cartoon. And then obviously I discovered G.I. Joe, Transformers, Mask, other cartoons like that, but I started with Super Friends. I had Super Friends pillowcases, Super Friends sheets, so I think I started as a DC guy. When I was a kid, I wanted a lot of these figures, but I couldn't find them in stores, so a little bit of a different haul here. I know most of my stuff that you see in my videos is modern stuff, but everything here is all vintage, all original. So let me get started. Enough babbling. I bought Triclops. So I was major into He-Man as well. And he was one of my favorite characters. So I know that they've done the Masters of the Universe Classics, which look great. I know that they're doing, Super 7 is doing the Filmations. But just getting an original He-Man figure complete. I even have the little ring, as you can see here. Getting some of my favorite characters from He-Man is going to be like a new goal of mine as far as my vintage collecting goes. But I guess Triclops is a good way to start. So there he is. And there's his different eyes that you can use. Moving on to G.I. Joe. This was a figure that I actually remember buying with my own money. I used to do chores around the house and earn like an allowance. And I remember saving my money and going to a store and buying a bunch of Joes, and this was one of them. I think Chuckles was another one, Sci-Fi was another, and then obviously Psych Out here. So this is Psych Out. He's complete. So he has the little radar dishes on his wrists, the gun, and then that right there. But he's awesome. They actually had a carded version at Toy Department, which was, I think, was pretty reasonable, like $30-35. So I might be getting that and just kind of displaying it with this loose version, but really, really awesome. I also ordered some stands for Vintage Joes because I have a bunch of Vintage Joes, so I ordered some stands so that they can be displayed a little bit easier because a lot of them have some difficulty standing, so I'm waiting for those. But let's get into these Superpowers figures. These are the ones that kind of, I don't know, did something in the old noggin that made me want to collect the crap out of these things. Here's Steppenwolf. For those that don't know, this is how he looked in the comics, in Superpowers, Super Friends. This is the original look. So for those of you that saw Justice League, that movie, that villain, this is the guy. This is what he looks like. But really, really cool. He's got that chromed axe. It still has that little rubber wire thing, rubber string that attaches the axe to his backpack there. But here is Steppenwolf. Going along with another Darkseid minion, which, by the way, I do want a Darkseid. So the Superpowers figures that I really, really want, and I'll be looking for these when I'm down in Dallas. Again, if you missed the previous video, I am going down to Dallas for the con there. I'm actually leaving in the morning, and I'm going to be there Friday and Saturday. So hopefully I get this video out tonight, or this message right here won't make much sense. So if you see me at the show, say hello. But I'll be looking for Superman, Batman, Robin, Darkseid, maybe a Batmobile. But there's a bunch of Superpowers figures which I'm really kind of hunting for at the show. So here's Mantis. And they changed his look for the figure. He looked a lot different in the comic book. But this is like one of the, I guess, the Mantis minions, I believe is how he was described. The actual Mantis character looks different. He's got a face instead of that kind of robotic look right there. But really cool. There's Mantis. And then my third bad guy that I got is Lex Luthor in his power suit. Very, very awesome. But there's Lex. This is actually one that I really wanted. I had a best friend growing up, and basically if I bought a certain character, he would not buy that certain character. If he had a certain character, I would not buy it, because we kind of shared toys and stuff. So he had Lex, and I didn't buy Lex, and I always wanted Lex. I just thought he looked really cool in that power suit. So I never got him, even though I always wanted him, because my buddy Jason had him. But here is Flash. This was one of my favorite figures from the line as a kid. I loved this figure. But he's very, very cool, and he still has his little running gimmick. Let me see if I can... Bam, bam, bam! Look at that! Basically, they all have like a little action kind of gimmick. And his, if you squeeze his arms, he runs. So that's what the Flash's is. And then here is Green Lantern. Very, very awesome. I want to try and get everyone that was in the Super Friends. So obviously I need Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Robin, Hawkman. And then I have these three guys here. And then the third one is Aquaman. He is missing his trident. And I actually went on eBay to see if I could find a loose trident so he would be complete. And that thing is kind of expensive. The trident alone is like $30. If you happen to collect these Superpowers figures and you have an extra trident, hit me up, let me know, because I'd be interested in buying it so that I can make Aquaman complete. But that's it. I just wanted to share my vintage toy haul. I know it's not a lot of stuff, but it's stuff that means a lot to me. And again, it was like a key turning and like memories unlocking in my head. crazy that little pieces of plastic will actually do that. It was kind of like a trigger, but a positive trigger. And then the last thing that I'll share, it's a t-shirt, and it's not a vintage t-shirt, but it's got a print on it that is based on a vintage property. And here it is. It's based on one of my absolute favorite cartoons as a kid, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. For those that don't know, it was Spider-Man, Iceman, and Firestar. Firestar is actually showing up in X-Men comics now, for those that don't know. But I got this shirt. I saw it on Ripped Apparel, and I had to have it. So here it is. Look at that. I think that's like a Queen Bohemian Rhapsody kind of homage, but with Green Goblin, Iceman, Firestar, and Spider-Man. I think I'm going to be wearing that in Dallas. So if you're out and about at the con in Dallas and you see a guy wearing this shirt, it's probably me, unless someone else has very, very good taste in t-shirts and they bought this same shirt. But again, hopefully I'll see you in Dallas if you're down in the area. Adios for now. Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing. Collect what you like. Collect what makes you happy. Collect what makes you feel like a kid again, whether it's modern, whether it's recent, whether it's vintage. Hopefully I'll see you down there. Hopefully I'll find more Superpowers figures. I'll show you my entire haul from the trip, but I'm really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to seeing Narc, Rube the Great. But I'll see you guys down there, and adios for now.